Who joins us now to talk to us more about that event, presenting the report on the elections held months before. Hello, Tijesu. It seems the human rights activists involved in that event are somehow not impressed at all with the conduct of the elections and want it to be improved, especially in the area of security. But tell us in plain terms what they expect from security officials.
Well, let me start by saying the role that security operatives play during election is quite sensitive to the electoral process and also our democracy as a nation. Also the involvement of military personnel when it comes to, the elections. During election, the heavy deployment of security military personnel is actually a growing concern in the minds of Nigerians. If you recall an incident leading up to the 2019 general election when President Muhammadu Buhari, ordered military forces, to be ruthless with ballot box snatchers. Of course, this directive was greeted with a lot of criticisms from Nigerians, and it sparked up a lot of controversy, especially when the army chief, backed up this directive by saying he will order his men to adhere strictly to this directive and enforce it to the letter. And this made a lot of Nigerians uncomfortable and made them begin to question whether or not they wanted to take part in this election. And it is believed that this actually contributed to the low turnout of voters we had during the 2019 general elections, which is stated to be the lowest ever turnout in the history of our elections since 1999. Also, the issue of police brutality during elections, they believe that it has a psychological impact on voters and it discourages them, from coming out to vote, and which raises also the concern, to reference on what the Electoral Act says about security involvement in our election. This act only empowers them. It empowers them to secure the disbursement of sensitive materials and also the protection of electoral officials, and does not even give, it does not give the military forces.
Let me just come in here because of time quickly. All the recommendations they made, are they planning to transmit them to relevant authorities, or is just another event where people just came together to talk about the issues of the country?
Yes, they made recommendations. They urged INEC to, first of all, they said there is the need for reduced involvement of military personnel in the electoral process to discourage, distracting voters, from exercising their basic rights. And also the need for electronic voting to be introduced. This they believe will reduce these irregularities and also encourage voters to carry out their civic responsibilities.
Electoral irregularities and glitches experienced during the 2019 general elections must be avoided at all costs. Moving forward, it's one of the recommendations made by rights groups in Abuja on the way forward in the electoral process. Tijesu Adeoye was there and just briefed us on what this discussed.